Picture this. You're drinking a glass of water right now. That exact water you're sipping? A dinosaur drank it millions of years ago. I'm not making this up. The same water molecules that are in your mouth right this second once hydrated a massive T-Rex or a long-necked Brachiosaurus. Wild, right? But that's just the beginning of how dinosaurs are still connected to our everyday lives in ways you never imagined. Here's something that'll mess with your head even more. See that bird outside your window? That pigeon on the street? That chicken on your dinner plate? They're not descendants of dinosaurs. They are dinosaurs. Living, breathing, modern dinosaurs. I know it sounds crazy, but stick with me here, because by the end of this, you'll never look at a bird the same way again. But first, let me blow your mind with this fact. We're discovering new dinosaur species faster than you can binge-watch your favorite TV show. Seriously. Just last week, scientists probably named a new dinosaur. And next week, they'll probably name another one. The world of paleontology moves so fast that whatever the newest dinosaur is today will be old news by tomorrow. Think about it. Right now, as you're reading this, there's probably a team of scientists somewhere in the world carefully brushing dirt off bones that have been hidden for 100 million years. They're about to reveal a creature that no human has ever known existed. How cool is that? Now, you might think all the good dinosaur discoveries happen in exotic locations. But here's the thing. 3 countries find almost all the dinosaurs: the United States, China, and Argentina. These 3 places alone account for 3/4 of all dinosaur species we know about. It's not that dinosaurs only lived there, it's just that these places have the perfect combination of exposed rocks from the right time period and lots of people looking for fossils. But here's what's weird. The Democratic Republic of Congo is the 11th largest country on Earth, and guess how many dinosaurs have been found there? 0. Not a single one. Though, funny enough, locals there tell stories about a creature called Mokele-mbembe that supposedly looks like a living dinosaur. Probably not real, but hey, stranger things have happened. Okay, ready for a fact that'll completely scramble your brain? You know Stegosaurus, right? The one with the spiky tail and plates on its back? When T-Rex was alive and hunting, Stegosaurus had already been dead for 80 million years. Let me say that again. The time between Stegosaurus and T-Rex is longer than the time between T-Rex and you. We're literally closer in time to T-Rex than T-Rex was to Stegosaurus. This is what gets me about dinosaurs. They ruled Earth for 165 million years. Humans, we've only been around for about 300,000 years. We're rookies compared to dinosaurs. During their time, entire mountain ranges formed and eroded away. Continents split apart. The planet changed so much that if you went back to the dinosaur age, you wouldn't even recognize Earth. And speaking of not recognizing things, here's something that'll ruin every dinosaur movie you've ever watched. For most of the time dinosaurs existed, there was no grass. None. All those scenes of dinosaurs walking through grassy fields? Total fiction. Grass only showed up near the very end of the dinosaur age. Before that, the ground was covered with ferns, mosses, and other prehistoric plants that don't exist anymore. But wait, it gets weirder. You know all those cool prehistoric creatures you learned about as a kid? Half of them aren't even dinosaurs. That flying pteranodon? Not a dinosaur. The swimming mosasaurs that ate the shark in Jurassic World? Not a dinosaur. That sailback dimetrodon in every dinosaur toy set. Get this, it's more closely related to you than any dinosaur. It's basically your great-great-great, add about a million more greats, grandparent. So what makes a dinosaur a dinosaur? It's all about the hips and ankles. Sounds boring, but it's actually brilliant. Dinosaurs could stand upright with their legs directly under their bodies, like pillars. This let them grow huge and move efficiently. Other reptiles have legs that sprawl out to the sides. That upright stance, that's the secret sauce that made dinosaurs so successful. Now, let me tell you about the biggest paleontology screw-up that makes me laugh every time. There's a dinosaur called Oviraptor, which means egg thief. Scientists named it that because they found its skeleton on top of a nest of eggs. Obviously, they thought, this dinosaur died while stealing eggs. Case closed, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. Decades later, scientists found more oviraptors on more nests in the exact same position. Then they found an egg with an oviraptor baby inside. Plot twist. Those weren't stolen eggs. They were the oviraptor's own babies. This thief was actually a devoted parent who died protecting its nest. Imagine being falsely accused of theft for 70 years when you were actually Parent of the Year. That's like the ultimate wrongful conviction. Let's talk size, because dinosaurs took the concept of go big or go home to ridiculous extremes. The average dinosaur weighed about as much as 3 cars. But average doesn't mean typical. That number gets skewed by the absolute monsters. The typical dinosaur you'd run into, not that you'd want to, was more like the size of a big cow.
But the extremes? Oh man, the extremes are insane. The biggest dinosaur we know of is Argentinosaurus. This thing weighed 80 tons. That's 160,000 pounds. That's heavier than a space shuttle. It was 118 feet long. You could park 3 school buses end to end, and this dinosaur would still be longer. Just one of its vertebrae was taller than a person. On the tiny end, we've got dinosaurs the size of chickens. Actually, we've got dinosaurs the size of hummingbirds, because remember, birds are dinosaurs. The bee hummingbird weighs less than a penny. From 80-ton giants to penny-weight flyers. That's like having both blue whales and mice in the same animal group. The diversity is mind-boggling. Speaking of birds being dinosaurs, this isn't some weird technicality or scientists being picky about categories. Birds have every single characteristic that defines a dinosaur. The hip structure, the ankle type, the hollow bones, it's all there. Saying birds aren't dinosaurs is like saying your cousin isn't related to you. The evidence is overwhelming. And here's what's crazy about the extinction. When that asteroid hit 66 million years ago, it didn't just kill the non-bird dinosaurs. It almost got the birds too. Something like 75% of all species on Earth died. Only a handful of bird species survived, probably small ground birds that could eat seeds and hunker down through the disaster. Every single bird alive today, from eagles to penguins, descended from those few survivors. Now, you want to know something that'll make your jaw drop? Dinosaur fossils can sell for absolutely insane amounts of money. The most expensive one ever sold was a Stegosaurus named Apex that went for $44.6 million. Million, with an M. If you make average wages, it would take you 4,500 years to save up for it. And where would you even put it? Your garage? The funny thing about calling it Apex is that Stegosaurus wasn't an apex predator. It was a plant eater. A very spiky plant eater, sure, but naming an herbivore Apex is like naming your goldfish Killer, though I guess Spike was too on the nose. Here's a number that'll blow your mind. During the late Cretaceous period, about 20,000 adult T-Rexes were walking around North America at any given time. That's like one T-Rex for every Starbucks in America today. Over the entire existence of the species, about 2.5 billion T-Rexes lived and died. Billion with a B. That's a lot of apex predators. And what were all these T-Rexes eating? Mostly Triceratops and duck-billed dinosaurs called hadrosaurs. Here's a gross fact about hadrosaurs. They ate rotting wood on purpose. Not fresh wood, rotting, decomposing wood full of bugs and fungus. It was like a disgusting protein smoothie. Nature is weird. The world these dinosaurs lived in was completely alien compared to today. First off, it was way hotter. There were no ice caps anywhere. None. Antarctica had forests and dinosaurs instead of ice and penguins. Palm trees grew in the Arctic. The whole planet was like a giant greenhouse. The days were different too. Because the moon's gravity has been slowing Earth's rotation for billions of years, dinosaur days were only 23.5 hours long, but their years had 372 days. Imagine trying to make a calendar for that. Is it the 371st or 372nd? I can never remember if it's a leap year. Oh, and during the age of dinosaurs, our whole solar system was on the opposite side of the galaxy. It takes 225 million years for our solar system to orbit the galactic center, so dinosaurs literally lived in a different neighborhood of the Milky Way. When Star Wars says a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, that actually applies to dinosaurs. Time to bust some Hollywood myths. First up, Jurassic Park. Great movie, terrible science. Most of the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park are actually from the Cretaceous period, not the Jurassic. The filmmakers just thought Jurassic sounded cooler. Marketing over accuracy. Remember that scene where they say T-Rex can't see you if you don't move? Total garbage. T-Rex had incredible eyesight. Its eyes were the size of softballs. It could probably spot you from miles away, moving or not. Standing still would just make you an easier target. And those velociraptors hunting people? Real velociraptors were the size of turkeys. What the movie showed was more like Deinonychus or Utah raptor. Plus, they were covered in feathers. Imagine being hunted by angry turkeys. Less scary, more scientifically accurate. Let's clear up the T-Rex tiny arms thing while we're at it. Yes, they look ridiculous, like someone stuck baby arms on a monster. But each of those tiny arms could lift 400 pounds. That's like doing bicep curls with two full-grown men. They probably used them to grab prey or push themselves up from the ground. Not so useful after all. T-Rex teeth were the size and shape of bananas. Thick, sharp, bone-crushing bananas. Its bite force was 12,800 pounds per square inch. That's enough to bite through a car, not dent it, bite clean through it. No wonder nothing messed with adult T-Rexes. But T-Rex wasn't even the biggest meat eater. That was probably Spinosaurus, though Giganotosaurus gives it a run for its money. The biggest plant eaters make them all look small, though. Some sauropods were over 100 feet long and approached 100 tons. They were so big that being big was literally their defense. What's going to attack something the size of a building?
But not all sauropods were giants. Some island species evolved to be tiny. Well, tiny for a sauropod. Magurosaurus was only cow-sized. When you're stuck on an island with limited food, being huge isn't an advantage anymore. It's the same reason you get miniature elephants on islands. Time for rapid-fire facts that'll make your head spin. Dinosaur fossils aren't actually bones. They're rocks in the shape of bones. Over millions of years, minerals replaced all the original bone material. You can tell if something's a fossil by licking it. Seriously. Fossils are porous, so your tongue sticks to them slightly. Regular rocks don't do that. No meat-eating dinosaur walked on 4 legs. Every single carnivorous dinosaur was bipedal. If someone shows you a 4-legged predator dinosaur, they're wrong. Many dinosaurs swallowed stones on purpose. These stomach stones helped grind up plant material, like a built-in blender. Some museums have drawers full of polished stones that spent millions of years in dinosaur stomachs. The word dinosaur didn't exist until 1842. Before that, people found dinosaur bones all the time, but had no idea what they were. Chinese medicine used dragon bones that were actually dinosaur fossils. Europeans thought they were giant humans or monsters from the Bible. Dinosaur poop has a fancy name, coprolite. The biggest fossilized poop ever found weighs 20 pounds and probably came from a T-Rex. Someone actually named it Barnum. There's a 20-pound, 66-million-year-old T-Rex turd named Barnum sitting in a museum. This is what paleontologists do for fun. Some dinosaurs had feathers but couldn't fly. They used them for warmth, display, or protecting eggs. Some had wings but were too heavy to get airborne. Imagine a 2,000-pound animal with wings. That's not flying anywhere. Here's where things get really exciting. We're starting to figure out what colors dinosaurs were. For over a century, every dinosaur illustration was just guessing. Green because lizards are green? Sure. Brown because elephants are brown? Why not? But it was all made up. Then scientists discovered you can find preserved color cells in some fossils. Suddenly we could see real dinosaur colors. Sinosauropteryx had orange and white stripes like a tabby cat. Microraptor was iridescent black like a raven. Anchiornis looked like a woodpecker with a red head crest. Borealopelta was reddish-brown on top and light underneath even though it was covered in armor. Even tank-like dinosaurs needed camouflage.
We even know what one dinosaur sounded like. Parasaurolophus had a hollow crest connected to its nose. Scientists 3D printed one and blew air through it. It made deep, haunting honks like a brass instrument. Imagine walking through a prehistoric forest and hearing that echoing through the trees. Gives me chills. Dinosaurs were way better parents than we thought. Many species built complex nests. Some lined them with rotting plants that gave off heat like an incubator. Maiasaura brought food to its babies. Some dinosaurs probably stayed with their parents for years, learning how to survive. Their eggs came in weird shapes, too. Most were oval, but some dinosaurs laid perfect spheres. Others laid football-shaped eggs. The biggest eggs were only football-sized, which seems tiny when the parent was house-sized. But make an egg too big and the shell has to be so thick the baby can't break out. Physics ruins everything. Here's a mind-bender. T-Rex is more closely related to a sparrow than it was to Stegosaurus. Actually, T-Rex is more closely related to a chicken than to most dinosaurs it lived with. Birds are theropods, and T-Rex was a theropod. Stegosaurus was on a completely different branch of the dinosaur family tree. Time and evolution are weird. Some dinosaurs were probably pretty smart. Troodon had a big brain for its body size. It might have been as intelligent as modern parrots or crows, which are scary smart. They use tools, solve puzzles, and hold grudges. Imagine a dinosaur that could do that. Pack hunters like Deinonychus had to communicate and coordinate attacks. That takes serious brain power. They probably had complex social structures we're only beginning to understand. Dinosaurs weren't just mindless eating machines. Let me hit you with more wild facts. Scientists can tell if a dinosaur was warm-blooded or cold-blooded by looking at their bones. Growth rings in bones work like tree rings. Warm-blooded animals grow constantly. Cold-blooded ones grow in spurts. Most dinosaurs show constant growth. They were probably warm-blooded, or at least something in between. Some dinosaurs got cancer. We found tumors in dinosaur bones. They got arthritis, gout, and infections. One T-Rex named Sue had a broken leg that healed, holes in her skull from parasites, and damaged tailbones. Even being a top predator didn't protect you from life sucking sometimes. Dinosaurs migrated huge distances. We know because we find the same species across multiple continents. Some probably migrated thousands of miles every year, following food or breeding grounds. Imagine herds of multi-ton animals thundering across continents. The ground must have shaken for miles.
Baby dinosaurs grew insanely fast. A baby sauropod could gain 2 tons per year. That's 11 pounds per day. Every day. For years. They basically lived to eat and grew like weeds. No wonder they needed so much food. Some dinosaurs lived in the Arctic and Antarctic. Not the frozen wastelands we know today, but still pretty cold and dark for months at a time. These polar dinosaurs dealt with months of darkness and probably snow. They might have migrated, hibernated, or just toughed it out. Dinosaurs were tougher than we thought. The biggest flying animal ever was a pterosaur, not a dinosaur, remember, called Quetzalcoatlus. It had a 40-foot wingspan. That's bigger than a small airplane. It was basically a flying giraffe. How something that big got airborne is still debated. Physics says it shouldn't work, but clearly it did. Dinosaurs invented flight at least 3 separate times. First pterosaurs, not dinosaurs, but close. Then early bird-like dinosaurs, then true birds. That's 3 different groups figuring out how to fly independently. Meanwhile, humans needed millions of years just to invent the airplane. Some dinosaurs built huge nesting colonies like modern seabirds. Imagine thousands of 30-foot-long dinosaurs all nesting together, defending their babies, bringing food. The noise and smell must have been overwhelming. Dinosaur daycares were no joke. Predators often targeted sick or weak dinosaurs, just like modern predators. We find bite marks on bones that show failed attacks where the prey escaped. Being a predator wasn't easy. Even T-Rex failed most of its hunts. Life's tough when your food can kill you back. The closest living relatives to dinosaurs, besides birds, which are dinosaurs, are crocodiles. Crocs and dinosaurs shared a common ancestor way back. But modern crocs didn't live with dinosaurs. Today's crocs evolved after dinosaurs went extinct. The crocs that lived with dinosaurs were way weirder, including ones that ran on land and ate plants. Some dinosaurs lived in deserts. We find their fossils in rocks that formed from ancient sand dunes. They dealt with extreme heat, scarce water, and sandstorms. Desert dinosaurs were hardcore. They probably had adaptations we can't even imagine. Dinosaurs survived multiple mass extinctions before the big one got them. They weathered volcanic eruptions that make modern disasters look like firecrackers. They survived climate changes that would end civilization today. They adapted to everything Earth threw at them for 165 million years. Then, one space rock ruined everything.
If that asteroid had missed or hit somewhere else, dinosaurs might still rule Earth. The impact site in Mexico was the worst possible place. Hit the ocean? Less damage. Hit granite instead of sulfur-rich rock? Maybe survivable. We exist because of cosmic bad luck for dinosaurs. Every glass of water you drink has molecules that pass through dinosaurs. Water doesn't disappear, it just moves around. Those molecules have been recycled billions of times. You're drinking dinosaur pee, dinosaur blood, dinosaur tears. We're all connected through water across millions of years. Some dinosaur species lasted millions of years individually. T-Rex existed for about 2.5 million years. Humans have existed for 300,000. We're babies compared to successful dinosaur species. They found something that worked and stuck with it. We've only found a tiny fraction of all dinosaur species that ever lived. Experts estimate we've discovered less than 1% of all dinosaurs. Thousands of species are still out there, waiting in the rocks. Future paleontologists will find dinosaurs we can't even imagine. Dinosaur bones were used in traditional medicine for centuries before anyone knew what they were. People ground them up and ate them thinking they were dragon bones. Somewhere, someone's great-great-grandmother took powdered T-Rex for a headache. Some dinosaurs had dental batteries, hundreds of tiny teeth packed together that constantly replaced themselves. They went through thousands of teeth in their lifetime. Imagine never having to worry about cavities because you just grow new teeth every few weeks. The smallest dinosaur eggs were smaller than a chicken egg. The parents were the size of chickens too, but still, imagine a dinosaur that could fit in your hand, laying eggs you could scramble for breakfast. Not all dinosaurs were monsters. We can tell what dinosaurs ate by looking at their fossilized poop. Scientists have found seeds, bones, wood, and even muscle fibers in coprolites. Yes, people spend their careers studying 100-million-year-old poop. Science is glamorous. Some dinosaurs had bizarre features we still can't explain. Horns in weird places, sails on their backs, clubs on their tails. inflatable sacks on their faces. Evolution went wild with dinosaurs. They're like nature's rough drafts for testing crazy ideas.
Dinosaurs breathed differently than mammals. They had air sacs throughout their bodies like birds. This made them lighter and helped them get oxygen more efficiently. It's one reason they could grow so huge. Better breathing equals bigger bodies. Baby dinosaurs sometimes had completely different proportions than adults. Baby dinosaur heads were huge compared to their bodies, like human babies. Some babies looked so different from adults that scientists thought they were different species. Puberty hit dinosaurs hard. Here's the ultimate truth about dinosaurs. They're not extinct. They're outside your window right now. Every bird is a dinosaur. Not descended from dinosaurs, they are dinosaurs. The age of dinosaurs never ended. It just got smaller and learned to sing. Next time you eat chicken, you're eating dinosaur. When a pigeon poops on your car, you've been bombed by a dinosaur. When you hear birds singing at dawn, you're hearing the last echo of the Mesozoic. We live in a world still ruled by dinosaurs. We just call them different names now. Dinosaurs connect us to deep time in ways nothing else can. They show us that Earth has been a living world for hundreds of millions of years. They prove that life adapts to anything. They remind us that nothing lasts forever, but life itself keeps going in new forms. The water you drink, the birds you see, the fossils in museums, they all connect you to a time when giants walked the Earth. Dinosaurs aren't just ancient history, they're part of our present and probably our future. After all, they've survived everything so far. Even asteroids couldn't completely stop them. That's the real magic of dinosaurs. They're not really gone. They evolved, adapted, and kept going, just like life always does, just like we will. The dinosaur story isn't about extinction. It's about survival, change, and the endless creativity of evolution. So yeah, that water you're drinking, dinosaur water. That bird outside, living dinosaur. That chicken nugget, dinosaur meat. We're surrounded by dinosaurs every single day. Most people just don't realize it. But now you do, and you'll never see the world the same way again.